back in ASG, which for different circumstances go well. So I've tried to parse the incoherence that is this judicial decision, and in that process I've become absolutely befuddled by the so-called reasoning of the three-person majority. To start, the claim of a strong affiliation is unfair. We go to a small school that offers many organizations, so for two people's spheres of organizational development to not overlap is a very rare thing. At Santa Clara, there are never 6 degrees of separation, normally only one, and occasionally 2. For a person to be strongly affiliated with a candidate to a degree that would tie them to that candidate, they must have been the most vocal and visible of supporters. Mr. Arzini has not participated in Leupp and Sola-Guinto's campaign videos, nor has he been a public figure of the campaign. There is no reason to conclude that he is strongly affiliated with the ticket, except for unfair and pre-existing perceptions and assumptions applied by the election committee. If the fact that these individuals belong to the same fraternity is being used as support, I'd like to first point out that the Greek system is not recognized by the school. Not being recognized is very different from not being affiliated, as it implies that, from the perspective of the school, and therefore from the school-related position, these organizations do not exist. And for them to even be discussed in regards to actions under school code is illegitimate. If a formal school decision recognizes students' involvement in the Greek system, then that contradicts the law of the school, and this invalidity could and should bring forth a legal debate with the school, not just ASG, but with the university. What is more, I'd like to briefly describe the circumstances under which the Sigma Chi fraternity was founded. In 1855, a few young men studied at the University of Miami, Ohio, were part of a deep fraternity. Several of them were members of the Area Delphian Society on campus. One brother ran for a prestigious title of poet laureate within the organization. He ran against a non-brother. Several of the deep brothers voted for the non-member over their brother because they felt he was more qualified. This resulted in the non-member winning position in a divide of the fraternity two that left the brothers feeling merit trumps loyalty to split from the organization and form their own Sigma Chi fraternity. For one to assume that a member of a, and again, non-recognized fraternity will vote for their fellow member is one of the greatest insults to any of my 300,000 international brothers taking sorrow. Moving on, the decision states that, and I quote, any actions committed by an individual strongly affiliated with the candidates could be construed as endorsement by the campaign. Disregarding the denotation of the sentence states that an action of a person is an endorsement of the campaign. Can you pass it over so I can finish? Sure.
Meaning that anything Mr. Arzini or anyone else somehow viewed as strongly affiliated with the Leupp and Sola-Guinto ticket did this past week. From brushing their teeth to going to bed, any action whatsoever can be viewed as an endorsement, meaning a sign of support for the ticket. So when Mr. Arzini walked to class on Monday, he was, through that action, endorsing Rob Leupp and Alex Sola-Guinto. I can only assume that some unfathomable typo has been made in the wording of this section of the decision, because there is, without question, no way that a ticket can be held so responsible for so many individuals, nor can so many individuals be forced to live their life under such a microscope. These are the shackles of tyranny that have been placed on the student body this past week. Now, along the same vein, the decision declares that this person with a strong affiliation to these candidates violated Article 10, Section A3 of the Election Code, which reads, candidates may not campaign within Benson Memorial Center on Election Day. Notice, first off, that the candidates were not in Benson Memorial Center on Election Day, as the line refers. The line does not say that actions of a campaign, whether endorsed or initiated or not, may not occur within Benson Center on Election Day. It clearly states that the candidates, physical persons that are the candidates, cannot be in Benson Center. If it were written, campaigns by candidates may not take place within Benson Center on Election Day, then this clause would be relevant. But it does not say that, and it is therefore not relevant. Beyond this, the code says nothing about encouraging votes as the decision letter claims. And unless encouraging someone to vote, which is an admirable act considering only 30% of the student body votes, is equal to encouraging someone to vote for a certain ticket, non-existent strong affiliation aside, it is not tolerated. Then there are no grounds for action here. It is very important to note that a campaign, as defined by the dictionary, is a systematic course of aggressive activities for some specific purpose. To claim that retrieving a device to help a close friend vote constitutes an action, which is in no way an action that is organized or systematic with intent. The intent was to help a friend vote, nothing more. It's weighted enough to violate Article Section B3. The election committee is authorized to sanction additional penalties and or disqualify any candidates.
2 minutes.
You're right here. The election committee is authorized to sanction additional penalties and or disqualify any candidates for violation of this election code and or university policies not expressly addressed in this code. It is a preposterous claim that uses an all-encompassing clause used to keep this election code relevant and up to date in the face of unusual and appalling actions, which was clearly not the case here. beyond the letter of law, which is so brutally ignored and or misapplied in this and many other situations of this election season, I would like to make an appeal in the spirit of the law, which should guide all decisions and interpretations of this code. The guidelines and policies within the code are designed to be consistent with the values of the university and ASG-SCU. They are established to promote fair, equitable, and engaging elections for the undergraduate student body. In no way whatsoever have these decisions followed the spirit of the code. The most supported ticket for the president and vice president positions, as seen by the voting outcome, has been disqualified because of a friend talking to a friend and showing her how to vote. One person voted, and she voted on her own way, uninfluenced by her surroundings at the time. One person voted Rob Leupp and Leupp and Sola-Guinto to get disqualified. She may not even have voted for them, and yet they are disqualified. They were not there, they did not know this was happening, yet they are disqualified. They were following a T to the election code, and because one person voted, they are disqualified. Step back and look at the big picture. Because one person voted, a runoff election, the two most important tickets is being forgone. How does this benefit the school? It is clear that, beyond the initial unethical actions that brought the issue up, the parties involved in upholding this disqualification have snubbed Article 1, Section C1 of the Solomon Code of Ethics and Values, which they signed, which states, I am willing to re-evaluate a prior decision in light of unforeseen circumstances in order to uphold the fundamental mission of ASG-SCU. I am not saying that Rob and Alex should be president and vice president of ASG next year. What I am saying is that the student body should decide who holds the positions, not individuals in positions of power. Whether this requires another election or the overturning of a current disqualification, a course of action must be taken. In the case that the decision will not be overturned or further
investigated, I would like to make it clear that I intend to pursue a recall. I would now like to express my total frustration and outright disgust with the way this election process has been handled. Having formerly served on ASG, and having spent the past 4 years of my life at Santa Clara Bronco, I am personally offended by the lack of integrity displayed by ASG members, beginning with and primarily the Vice President and concluding with the Judicial Committee. Numerous actions were taken that contradict the spirit of fairness that this organization claims to promote. I feel the voice of a large number of students was stealthily silenced by selfish and biased acts. The entire process has been an assault on democracy and is reflective of a mindset that wishes to treat the student body like a mob of unintelligent and meek drones. A personal agenda was advanced, and it is no small issue that it has succeeded. My pride and love for this university has not just been tainted, but utterly destroyed by these egregious actions. I am depressed that the memory of my time here at Santa Clara has been contaminated by the injustices of the past week. This disqualification is an adulteration of the competence, conscience, and compassion that Santa Clara promotes. Moreover, it debases the authority and representativeness of ASG. In no way has the Santa Clara community been well served by these actions. To the contrary, a great wound has been inflicted. I have never felt more anxious to move on after graduation, as I now feel that I will not be leaving a community that promotes good and represents the ideals of Christian faith. But I will instead be leaving a place that has been infected by the egoistic persons responsible for the prejudiced actions displayed. I no longer wish to start a new chapter in my life, but rather burn the book of the past 4 years and begin writing anew under a new name. In the past, I have strongly recommended the university to prospective students, my main argument being how great people are. I can no longer make this claim in good faith. I would not wish anybody to willingly decide to attend a college where corruption can so easily thrive. I beg that all those in authority that are objective and well-intentioned investigate this matter so that a fair decision benefiting the Santa Clara community can be reached.